This Late Night Linux Family podcast is made possible by our patrons. Go to latenightlinux.com/support for details of how you can join them. Support us on Patreon for access to ad-free episodes and early releases. That's latenightlinux.com/support. Hello and welcome to episode 362 of Late Night Linux, recorded on the 1st of December 2025. I'm Joe, and with me are Phelan.
Here's Krampus.
Graham.
Good evening.
And Will.
Door number 1.
Yes, it's December. It's almost Christmas. Feel the Christmas spirit. Before we get going, I just wanted to put a call out. As you may or may not know, we've been trying to move our website away from WordPress to Hugo. And it's not just the main website. We've got sites for all the other shows that we need to consolidate into one. Now, we've done quite a lot of that work already, but we need to push it over the line. And that is proving tricky. So if you've got experience of doing this sort of thing before and know what you're talking about when it comes to Hugo, then please do get in touch. show@latenightlinux.com. The budget is not high for this, so you'd definitely be doing us a favor. But if that sounds like something that you're interested in, then please do get in touch. Let's start with a KDE Corner. Going all in on a Wayland future. It's about bloody time.
It is. Yeah, wholly behind this because, let's face it, X11's dead, has been dead, continues to be dead, and it's very unfortunate if people still need it. But yeah, we've got to fix whatever's missing in Wayland for their stuff to work because we can't keep going on with it. So, good.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is a good step into the future. This is what we've been waiting for, to finally put X11 to bed.
Yeah, so Plasma 6.8 is not going to have X11 support. You can still run X11 applications using X-Wayland, but this is the second of the big two going all in on Wayland, and it really, after 15 years, I think we talked about recently, marks probably the actual beginning of the end for X11. It's quite momentous, I think.
Won't celebrate just yet, because I think it'll still be a long way away, but I think this is definitely the beginning of the end now.
Yeah, I mean, I think they say, like, if you're really stuck, you can get, say, the likes of Alma Linux 9, which will have that support until 2032. And I think we worked out that, yeah, if you were to use 2604, you should be probably up around the same time as well. But, you know, hopefully most people can switch to Plasma at that point.
I don't think X11 is ever going to go away, a bit like the Commodore Amiga. But yes, this is the right thing to happen. And people can stick with, KDE3 if they want to.
Yeah.
X11 powered cockroaches. That's all that'll be left on Earth.
I mean, there is some talk of forks and distros maintaining older versions and stuff, but that just seems not something that's going to work out long term.
I would genuinely question why someone would want to keep it alive. I mean, I know, yes, okay, it works. Okay, it might work in your sort of limited use case that you have, but don't think for a second it's secure. Don't think for a second it's not full of horrible hacks everywhere. So it's not like it's a pristine finished project that nothing more is wrong with and, could live on forever. It was shonky decades ago, and it continues to be even shonkier.
Yeah, people talk about screen recording and screen sharing and stuff, but like the reason that doesn't work the same way on Wayland is by design, because it was never secure on X11.
And it works perfectly fine. If you are using something like Google Meet inside Google Chrome, so this is two Google products which have no necessity to support screen sharing on Wayland, they work perfectly. You can share a browser tab, you can share your whole screen. It just works. So that is a solved problem. And we've seen these forks of various projects that have sprung up because they don't like the direction they're going. And when it's a fork of such a big thing, they never go anywhere. They hang around, they get headlines for about a fortnight, and then it dies and nobody ever hears from them again. And that's what will happen here.
Too early for 2026 predictions.
Well, there are some forks of big projects that are sort of chugging along, but I think you're right for the mainstream, Will. Like, if you start trying to fork a big thing, it's never going to really be huge, is it? I mean, Mate, I suppose, is a reasonably good example of a fork of GNOME 2 that is relatively successful, but it's not like default in any big distros or anything. So I think you're right, ultimately. I mean, the nature of open source is that it will get forked and that code will sit around and may get developed a little bit. But for the vast majority of people, they'll just move on and just get used to Wayland and work around the issues. All right, and a link that we seem to put in every week, Phelim, help us reach the inflection point. You just want to gloat that it's nearly 100,000 now or something?
It's 97,735 euros. So doing well. I think it's awesome. And congratulations to everybody who's donated and the project for having the inverted commas guts to ask for the cash. And more projects, please do this. You should and deserve to get the money you need.
Tuxedo Computers is discontinuing their development of an ARM laptop with a Snapdragon X Elite SoC. So this has been cooking for quite some time. They had originally hoped to get it out about this time last year, but they just keep hitting snags with development and they just can't quite get Linux working on it to an acceptable level. And now they've just said, that's it, we're giving up.
So everything we didn't want about the whole SKUs with ARM proves to be true, and it's a nightmare. So, yeah, great.
Yeah, I mean, this is just really bad news. It shows that what we worried about is true. I mean, they're not a huge company, but they're also not a tiny company. And they have decided that they just don't have the resources to do the job here. And it's taken so long that now there's new generations of these Snapdragon processors. And if they were to release it anytime soon, it's just going to be old hat.
They list some pretty compelling reasons not to make a laptop on this device. The battery life was nowhere near what they were hoping for. There was no way to do BIOS updates. I think that's perhaps a smaller problem. But a big one is no fan control. So that is a real problem. And no virtualization under KVM and really slow USB 4 transfer rates. All of those are like pretty fundamental driver problems. It does make me wonder what the X1E target platform really is. According to the Snapdragon, or rather the Qualcomm website, it's for laptops and PC class thin and light devices, which I think probably means Android.
No, it does mean Windows PCs.
Oh, okay. So if they've got Windows, these sound like solvable problems, but I guess the root of the matter is that they are a lot of work. And Tuxedo do call out the collaboration they had with Lenaro for producing, I expect, drivers or improving the drivers. The good news to come out of this is that all of the work they have put in is going to be contributed into a specific device tree for this SoC into the upstream kernel. So it's not completely wasted effort here, but it's a real shame that we're not going to see a device like I've been after for a long time, powered by a decent ARM SoC.
Well, that was the plan to upstream it into the kernel. But then Krzysztof Kozlowski, who is a kernel maintainer for ARM stuff, has said, well, no, we don't want it because it's a cancelled product, so why would we want it in the kernel? But that said, you do assume that they will at least open source it. Even if it's not upstream in the kernel, you'll still be able to build it into kernels, should you want to make Linux run on a device with this SoC.
Yeah, I wonder if that whole section of the kernel is going to become a wasteland of partially completed projects in the future. It doesn't sound great.
Yeah, so you can kind of understand the reluctance to accept device trees into that.
Yeah, you'd wonder how many have already been in the similar state.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hadn't seen that article. That's a real shame that it didn't get in. The reasons sound reasonable, I suppose, but yeah, hopefully it'll appear on a source control somewhere and people can use it. What does that say about this chip being used by other manufacturers? I guess they're all Android or Windows then.
Yeah. Seemingly. No proper GNU/Linux on it.
What gave me a bit of hope was the fact that some time ago, probably a month or two, on 2.5 Admins, you were talking about the power requirements of some of the newer AMD chips. Now, that was awesome news to hear that they were getting very similar battery life. And if we have x86 or x64 actually copping on and looking at those things properly, and now we have RISC-V coming in, who needs ARM? Go away. We don't want you.
Yeah, those new AMD processors do seem quite promising in terms of the power to performance ratio. So I want you to be right. Fuck ARM, basically, but we'll see. Okay, this episode is sponsored by Tailscale. Go to tailscale.com/LNL. Tailscale is an easy-to-deploy, zero-config VPN that allows you to build simple networks across complex infrastructure. Sign up, install Tailscale on the devices you want to connect, and you can get going in a few minutes. Whether you want to connect back to your home LAN while traveling, send backups to a friend's house, or securely access your Kubernetes cluster, Tailscale combines the power of WireGuard with simple installation and configuration for a seamless experience. Tailscale's personal plan is free forever. You'll get up to 100 devices and 3 users at no cost with no credit card required. So support the show and try Tailscale for free today at tailscale.com/LNL. If you'd like to bring Tailscale to work, use code LATENIGHTLINUX for 3 free months of any paid plan. Thousands of companies have already made the switch. That's code LATENIGHTLINUX.
Here we go.
Here we go indeed. Rewiring Mozilla, doing for AI what we did for the web. The first line of this is just brilliant. AI isn't just another tech trend. Okay. It's at the heart of most apps, tools, and technology we use today.
Is it though?
Is it though? It's not at the heart of anything that I use technology-wise.
That's funny. It's not the heart of anything I use either. Wow.
I mean, even Will, who is the sort of AI apologist among us, it's not at the heart of anything you use, is it?
Absolutely not. No, I mean, it's kind of a bolted on, crudely, held together with sticky tape and string of most applications that I use. You know, they're shoehorning it into everywhere they can find a crack, and very few of them that are like bolted on feel like they're properly integrated. They all feel like they're bolted on. So no, don't think it's at the heart of anything other than the ChatGPT website.
Shoehorned into a crack sounds very like this.
Now, I'm not sure if what I'm about to say could be considered libelous.
Go on. That sounds juicy. I like it.
Okay, I suspect that this post was not entirely written by a person. But given that they're saying that AI is at the heart of everything, then they probably would be happy to not even admit that. Just say, yeah, of course AI helped us write this.
I don't believe a machine can have a libel case against a human yet.
Well, I'm not saying it's written by AI, but all I'm saying is there are a hell of a lot of M-dashes in this.
Also, I really don't like the title. Rewiring Mozilla, doing for AI what we did for the web. I mean, I love Firefox and what it's trying to do for the web, but that is such an arrogant headline considering they've dropped the ball for so many years.
Well, we will also link to a piece on OMG Ubuntu by Joey, Mozilla's Rewiring AI, saving the web or saving itself. And there's a very funny bit at the bottom. Did they consult an electrician on this rewiring or just ChatGPT? And this piece by Joey, I think, really tells a story because I don't know how many people listening regularly read OMG Ubuntu, but Joey's quite snarky and funny and stuff like that. But there is this broad positivity to his coverage of everything. And, it's not toxically positive or anything, but like he tries to keep it light, tries to keep it upbeat. And even this piece where he's just shitting on Mozilla, he keeps it funny. But like the fact that Mozilla have lost Joey really speaks volumes to me. The fact that he would write a piece this excoriating, I think is the word for it, speaks volumes.
The thing that really annoyed me about the Mozilla piece is the fact that they're going to push the trajectory of AI. I don't believe you can push anything when you've got like the most minority of share of the internet because you've let it dwindle and fester so long at like what, less than 3% at this point?
I skimmed their strategy document PDF, and it's pretty grim reading. It's a bit like somebody's homework assignment when they've not done the homework. It's just so vague and vaporware-y. Almost everywhere I stop on the cursor, they're phase 1, 2, and 3. Everything is an excuse for not actually doing anything. But then you can see that their financial metrics, what they want to do is 20% year-on-year growth in non-search, non-Google revenue aggregated across the Mozilla portfolio, where at least 3 portfolio organizations have greater than $25 million a year. It's just this dream world, while totally ignoring their main mission and the thing that they said they've had made such a significant contribution to over the last couple of decades.
Yeah. Meanwhile, they do shit like remove RSS support from Firefox. I know that was ages ago, but that has just really stuck in my mind because RSS is a proper open standard. And maybe not that many people using it, so maybe promote it a bit.
There's a lot of past tense as well. Mozilla needs to do for AI what we did for the web.
And I know this is really pedantic, but in this piece, they mix up constantly the web and the internet. And I know I'm just being really pedantic, but I think it's important because we used to have the web. Everything was a website and it was based on open standards. And now we have apps and services that connect over the internet, often using web standards, but not using the web. And I think for them to conflate the web and the internet is not what they should be doing. They should be pushing web apps and websites and using the web, and definitely not whatever the fuck this is about.
It's like hearing one of your favorite bands growing up is getting back together, and you're hoping that it's like the way Pantera got back together and were really brilliant. It turns out it's Guns N' Roses, and Axl Rose can't fucking sing anymore and he looks like a blob. It's fucking shit. They are a joke. And to be quite honest, I'm kind of done with them at this point. And I think even just for a case of I just don't want them to have the fucking stat, I'm going to use one of their spin-offs like LibreWolf or whatever it's called.
Yeah, one of the downstream forks.
Exactly, because at this point, I don't want them to have the fucking stat that I'm using their fucking browser anymore. I'm fucking sick of them. They are pathetic, beyond pathetic at this point. They need to sack every single one of those people on that board and gut the entire company back to the fucking engineering. It's McDonnell Douglas joining forces with Boeing, and they got the fucking accountant sales side rather than the engineering side. It's a farce.
I think it's beyond that. I think, like I talked about a while ago, what needs to happen is someone who is influential.
Someone who's not a dick, though. Can we just clarify that up front so we don't end up with DHH or some other arsehole there?
Never heard of him. Anyway, someone who is not a fucking arsehole, yes, but is influential, needs to somehow tempt all of the engineers and related people at Mozilla away to a new organization that can somehow fund itself, probably through small donations from the users, and make a proper hard fork that is sustainable and not just a downstream fork that is going to be fucked when Mozilla dies.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, if Mozilla did have a proper funding model, I wouldn't support them because it's a farce.
Yeah, a short-term solution is switch to one of the downstream forks. Fine, but that doesn't fix the problem long-term.
No, I know. But the problem is switching to Chrome doesn't fix that problem anymore either. And a monoculture web is, well, it's effectively monoculture already, but I don't believe that a monocultured web is a good web to have.
No. And people say, oh, switch to Vivaldi. They don't do any of this AI bullshit, but that's Chromium-based and it's not fully open source. Okay, only a little bit of it is not open source, but nevertheless, it's based on Chromium, so who cares? It's all just grim. I wish it wasn't, but it's fucking grim.
I try to imagine board meetings or executive team meetings that happen at Mozilla on, I assume, a daily basis. I think they must go something like, oh my God, what are we going to do for money? Somebody think of something now. And that just happens every single day. And then they just try it and then stop trying it and try something new. The whole thing just seems I don't know, increasingly desperate, I think.
Well, it's like that meme where they're sitting around the boardroom table and someone suggests, I don't know, why don't we ask our users for small donations? And then they get chucked out the window. If they'd done that 5 years ago, they would not be in this situation now. But they didn't. And they got the big scare about potentially losing the Google money. And so now they think, oh, let's chase the big shiny AI bullshit. That'll fix it. Great work. 10 out of 10. But of course, there is a slight bit of hope with Servo. Servo is a web rendering engine that was originally a side project from Mozilla. And it's slowly getting there, but it's nowhere near Blink or WebKit or Gecko yet. But maybe one day. Anyway, they have announced sponsorship tiers, and they're hoping to get organizations involved. So, I don't know, maybe long-term that might be a glimmer of hope.
The problem here is that Servo need the money in order to make the browser, and they can't get the money because they haven't got any users because they haven't made the browser. So for all our beating up of Mozilla, they have got the money. I mean, maybe the answer is that they should just commit some funds to funding alternatives that maybe one day come under the Mozilla umbrella, or they just, I don't know, morph into a new company. But I don't know how Servo can go about getting enough money to build a browser that can compete without significant amount of money. And at some point you think, well, is it worth backing one of these if they're going to fail? And I think we just have to take a gamble here and just say, yes, it is worth backing them, even if you don't use it. It's worth backing them so that when inevitably Mozilla do disappear, we have got something waiting in the wings that can fill the gap.
Yeah. And before anyone suggests that other one, fuck those guys, or fuck that guy in particular.
Don't know who you're possibly talking about there, but...
No idea. Well, hopefully Servo can come and rescue things. It seems like a long shot, but if they can get some platinum sponsors at $10,000 a month...
They'll wait a long time to get it from my single-man company, but yeah.
Well, no, you know, surely some of the massive companies, like maybe Google needs to start paying another competitor to keep the regulators at bay. Who knows? Right, well, we better get out of here then. We'll be back next week when who knows what it'll be. But until then, I've been Joe.
I've been Phelan.
I've been Graham.
And I've been Will.
See you later.